Think of a millionaire. You're probably imagining fancy cars, huge mansions, and expensive vacations. But what if I told you that most millionaires actually live a life far from what you'd expect? Most of them aren't driving flashy sports cars or living in sprawling estates. Instead, they live in modest homes, drive regular cars, and quietly accumulate wealth. In today's video, we're going to uncover the surprising truths about wealth, based on 2 decades of research, found in The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko. This book reveals that becoming a millionaire isn't about winning the lottery or inheriting a fortune. It's about making consistent, smart financial decisions every day. And the best part? These are lessons you can start applying today, no matter where you are on your financial journey. Imagine living in a middle-class neighborhood, driving a regular car, and wearing simple clothes, but having a net worth in the millions. That's the life of many millionaires next door. They aren't trying to impress their neighbors, but they've mastered the art of living below their means and letting their wealth grow behind the scenes. Let's dive in and learn how you can join the ranks of these under-the-radar millionaires. The Millionaire Next Door is based on a fascinating 20-year study of millionaires in America. Stanley and Danko discovered that the image of wealth most people have, big houses, luxury cars, and designer clothes, is far from reality. True wealth doesn't come from earning an enormous income or having a glamorous lifestyle. In fact, many of the people who appear wealthy with their extravagant spending habits are barely scraping by. Instead, real wealth is built slowly over time by making smart, disciplined financial choices. The authors identified 7 common traits shared by those who have successfully accumulated wealth. These traits aren't what you might expect. They aren't about earning the biggest paycheck or working in the highest paying industries. Instead, they're about frugality, careful financial planning, and living well below your means. So, who are these millionaires next door? They're people who could easily be your neighbors. They might be your local shop owner, your dentist, or even the couple down the street who lives in a modest home and drives a 10-year-old car. What sets these people apart isn't their income, but their mindset. They aren't focused on keeping up with the Joneses or spending money on things they don't need. Instead, they're laser-focused on saving, investing, and building long-term wealth. Stanley and Danko discovered that most millionaires live in average neighborhoods, shop at regular stores, and rarely splurge on luxury items. They're not interested in flashy cars or expensive clothes. Instead, they prioritize financial security and independence. This mindset is what makes them wealthy, not their income, but their ability to manage and grow their money. Let's tackle one of the biggest myths about wealth: the belief that income equals wealth. So many people think that earning a high salary automatically makes you rich. But the truth is far more complex. Just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean you're building wealth. In fact, many high-income earners spend just as much as they make, leaving them with little or no savings at the end of the month. This is known as lifestyle inflation. As their income increases, so does their spending on bigger homes, fancier cars, and more expensive vacations. But this lifestyle trap keeps them from ever truly building wealth. Here's a scenario. Imagine someone earning $200,000 a year. You'd think that person is on the fast track to becoming a millionaire, right? But what if that person is spending nearly all of their income on a large mortgage, 2 luxury car payments, private school tuition, and frequent vacations? They might appear rich from the outside, but they're living paycheck to paycheck, with little or no money left over to save or invest. Stanley and Danko found that the true key to wealth building isn't how much you earn, it's how much you save and invest. The people who accumulate wealth over time are the ones who resist the urge to upgrade their lifestyle with every raise or bonus. They live below their means, avoid debt, and put their money to work through smart investments. This is a huge mindset shift for many people. Our culture often equates success with material possessions, But The Millionaire Next Door teaches us that wealth is about having financial freedom, not owning the latest gadgets or the most expensive car. Let's look at another group, those in the high-income, low-wealth category. These individuals make a lot of money, but because they spend just as much, they end up with very little in savings. They live in expensive homes, drive new cars, and often carry significant debt. Their net worth is surprisingly low, despite their high earnings. Contrast that with the millionaire next door, someone who might make far less in salary but has accumulated a significant net worth through consistent saving, smart investing, and living frugally. Now that we've debunked the myth that income equals wealth, let's dive into the core lessons from the millionaire next door. These are the traits that set millionaires apart from the rest, and they're habits you can adopt starting today. Frugality. One of the most important traits shared by millionaires is frugality. They don't waste money on things that don't bring long-term value. For example, instead of buying a brand new car every few years, millionaires often drive their cars for 10 years or more. They're not interested in the latest models or flashy brands. They're interested in getting the best value for their money. Frugality extends to every aspect of their lives. Millionaires are careful with their spending on clothes, dining out, and entertainment. This doesn't mean they live in deprivation. It means they make intentional choices about where to spend their money. They prioritize quality over quantity and focus on spending in ways that align with their long-term financial goals. In today's world, it's easy to get caught up in consumerism. Advertisements constantly encourage us to buy more, upgrade our gadgets, and keep up with the latest trends. But millionaires resist this pressure. They don't buy things to impress others. They focus on building lasting wealth instead. Another key lesson from the book is that most millionaires live in modest homes. While it's tempting to believe that wealth equals big mansions, the reality is that many millionaires live in homes that cost far less than what they can afford. They understand that a larger home comes with higher taxes, more expensive maintenance, and bigger utility bills. By living in a modest home, they free up more of their income for saving and investing. Imagine living in a house that you can easily afford, with no financial stress about making mortgage payments. That's the reality for many millionaires. They focus on paying off their mortgages quickly, often in less than 10 years, and avoid debt wherever possible. This gives them the financial freedom to focus on growing their wealth instead of worrying about making ends meet. Investment discipline. Millionaires are disciplined when it comes to investing. They don't jump on the latest trends or try to time the market. Instead, they invest steadily over time, often in low-cost index funds, bonds, or real estate. The key is patience. Wealth building doesn't happen overnight. It takes time, consistency, and a long-term perspective. They also understand the power of compound interest. A simple investment of $500 per month, starting in your 20s, can grow into millions by the time you retire. Millionaires don't rely on luck. They rely on the consistent growth of their investments over decades. Avoiding debt. Debt can be a huge obstacle to wealth building, and millionaires understand this better than anyone. While many people take on debt for cars, vacations, and luxury goods, millionaires avoid debt whenever possible. They use debt strategically only for things that will increase in value, like real estate. Credit card debt is something they avoid like the plague. The high interest rates on credit card balances can quickly eat away at any wealth you're trying to build. Millionaires use credit cards wisely, if at all, and always pay off their balances in full each month. They understand that debt can trap you in a cycle of payments, leaving you with little room to save or invest. Now that we've covered the key traits of millionaires, let's talk about how you can start applying these lessons in your own life. These aren't just abstract concepts, they're practical steps you can take today to start building wealth. Track every dollar. Building wealth starts with knowing where your money is going. One of the most powerful tools in a millionaire's arsenal is the simple act of budgeting. Use an app or a spreadsheet to track every dollar you spend. Once you have a clear picture of your expenses, you can identify areas where you can cut back and save more. Budgeting isn't about limiting your enjoyment of life. It's about making sure your spending aligns with your values and long-term goals. By tracking your spending, you can make conscious decisions about where to direct your money. Over time, these small adjustments add up and can significantly impact your financial health. Automate your savings. One of the easiest ways to build wealth is by automating your savings. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings or investment account each month. This way, you're paying yourself first before you even have a chance to spend that money on something else. Automating your savings removes the temptation to spend everything you earn. It's a set it and forget it strategy that helps you build wealth without even thinking about it. And over time, those automatic transfers will grow into a significant nest egg. Avoid lifestyle inflation. As your income increases, it's natural to want to upgrade your lifestyle. But this is one of the biggest traps that prevents people from building real wealth. Instead of using raises and bonuses to buy a bigger house or a nicer car, consider directing that extra money into savings or investments. This way, you're growing your wealth instead of just spending it. Millionaires understand that the key to wealth is maintaining the gap between income and expenses. The larger that gap, the more money you have to invest and grow over time. By resisting the urge to spend more as you earn more, you can significantly accelerate your path to financial freedom. As we've explored today, the path to true wealth isn't paved with luxury cars, sprawling mansions, or designer clothes. Instead, it's built through discipline, smart choices, and a mindset focused on long-term financial freedom. From the lessons shared in The Millionaire Next Door, we've learned that real wealth comes from living below your means, avoiding unnecessary debt, investing wisely, and being intentional with your spending. Frugality, modesty, and patience are key. Millionaires understand that it's not about how much you make, but how much you keep and grow over time. Whether you're just starting out or already on your financial journey, these principles can guide you toward lasting wealth. Take a moment to reflect on your own financial habits. Are you living below your means? Are you saving and investing for the future? Small changes today can lead to significant financial security in the years to come. The road to becoming a millionaire next door may not be glamorous, but it's one that's accessible to anyone willing to follow these timeless principles. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the habits of the truly wealthy. If you found these insights helpful, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more lessons on building wealth and financial independence. There's so much more to learn, and I can't wait to share more strategies with you in our next video.